Where does this stand now?
Well, let me first say that I believe the system can and will work. I started to say should work, but I believe it. I'm going to say that it can and will work. So we're appealing to the United States Supreme Court, and also the actions by Eric Holder in throwing out charges against Ted Stevens and some other people because of prosecutorial misconduct gives me some hope that they will at some point start looking at my case and say, "Whoa, wait a minute! There's just too much here.
Right?
We need to throw this out and start over." There was an interesting headline in the Huffington Post recently that said Obama offers key posts to those who bankrolled his campaign. Well, in my case, I appointed a contributor to, it wasn't even to my campaign, it was to a campaign to establish a free college education for Alabama kids, fashioned after the Hope College Scholarship Program in Georgia.
Right.
We were going to start a lottery here, and I was raising money, and I had asked this guy if he would contribute to this campaign to help give our kids free college scholarships, and he said, yes, I'll raise some money and I'll give some money. Later, I put him on this board that he had served on through 3 previous governors.
Right.
Well, there's absolutely no difference in what I did and what Obama is doing now, and that is appointing people who gave money to his campaign to ambassadorships.
Happens all the time.
This is something, we may not like it. It may leave a bad taste in our mouth, but this is American politics, and that's what the United States Supreme Court said in its historic decision in 1991 in a case called McCormick versus the United States. It involved a West Virginia legislator who had taken some money from some doctors and later had tried to help them increase, I think, their Medicaid payments through the state legislature. Mm-hmm. And what the court said was, in cases involving a campaign contribution, there must be an explicit agreement to trade something for the money. Well, in my case, the 11th Circuit said it doesn't have to be an explicit or an express agreement. The jury can infer an agreement from the minds and actions of the actors, which is the total opposite of explicit. So we're hopeful that the United States Supreme Court will look at this, will throw it out, will say this is this is not the law in America, and these convictions should be overturned. So it is that is my hope. It's also my hope that Eric Holder will take a look at this case and will look at the prosecutorial misconduct and not only throw my case out, but will put the prosecutors under the microscope and ask them questions about what their connections are between them and Karl Rove. This case, yes, I want to be out from under this prosecution, but more than that, if you can believe it, is that I want Karl Rove put under the microscope, and I want him held accountable for abusing his power.
Amen.
And abusing the power of the Department of Justice to go after his political enemies. Because we need to make an example out of this so that this kind of behavior does not or is not likely to happen again in the future.
I think there are millions, if not tens of millions of Americans who, having an understanding of your case and what happened to you, would feel exactly the same as what you just said. It's time for the people who have committed so many perversions of our system over the past 8 years to be examined, and it doesn't stop with Karl Rove. There is so much. This is one of the reasons you're a Democrat, I'm a Democrat. One of the reasons the National Democratic Party has gotten me so angry is because there are positions in power in that people in positions of power in that party that have refused up to this point.
Absolutely, Mike.
To push.
It's shameful.
Yeah,
shameful.
To push for inquiries, investigations. I don't care what they call it, but what happened in this country over the past 8 years is horrifying.
It cannot be swept under the rug if our democracy is going to survive. If we want this country and our democracy to survive, This kind of behavior cannot be swept under the rug, and those people who committed these atrocities have to be brought to justice. As ugly and as horrifying as it will be to the American people, we have to confront the wrongs that we have done.
That's true. That is so true. Give us your website so that people...
It is Don Siegelman, I before E, Don Siegelman, SIEGELMAN.org or .com. And I would encourage your listeners to go on there for more information.
Yeah.
And if they want to help me with my legal defense fund, that certainly would be welcome too. But more importantly, please get after your congressmen and senators. Tell them to get on the Department of Justice and tell them to investigate the prosecutorial misconduct in the Siegelman case. And let's bring Karl Rove to justice.
I hear that.
Restore justice in this country.
I hear that. Don, thank you so much for your time. Let's talk again. I want to see all of this taken off of you, and I think most Americans who believe in justice feel the same way. Thanks so much for talking with us, okay?
Mike, thank you so much.
All right, Don. Take care.
Bless.
We'll talk again. Take care.